That everybody silence their phones. And if Judy starts holding on a conversation, somebody pick her up and carry her out. Okay. Let us have a moment of silence because at this moment, or around now, our beloved Scott Marcus is gasping for breath as he runs the 5K that he, I think, is the solo performer on. Oh, it doesn't? Oh. Well, it says start time 7 a.m. for marathon, 8 a.m. for half marathon, but he's doing like a quarter of a marathon? Or something like that. So if we pray for him in advance, yes, it will give him the strength that he needs to carry on. So a moment of silence for Scott. We could chant for him. Oh, my knees hurt.
Don't put that in there.
Oh, I feel great. Why did I agree to do this? Okay, Scott, our thoughts are with you, and we know you're going to pull this off and come back and tell us all about it. Even on crutches. Yes, even on crutches. That was a wonderful pre-service meditation. We had something different. Lori led us today through some chants, and we all enjoyed it very much. So, yeah, next time you see Lori is going to do the meditation, she's going to do some more chants. We really enjoyed it. Oh, sorry. Lori did some chants, and we really enjoyed it. So she's going to do it some more. Welcome home. We are glad you are all here. Louise, we hung up your We Are CSL behind the door. It's framed now in the lobby. It was hiding. Nancy pulled a whole bunch of stuff out of the cupboards yesterday. We were having a cleaning day, and that was in there. We'd like to start with an acknowledgement of the native lands that we are on. The Eureka Center for Spiritual Living acknowledges that the land on which we gather is the ancestral territory of the Wiyot peoples. This territory extends to the communities through most of Humboldt County, and we honor the Wiyot peoples today. Oh. Now we're going to do our welcoming affirmation. Oh. Oh. Marvin, did you do that? Okay, this time when we turn to someone and say, I'd like to honor one of my male role models, or role model of any gender, Fred Rogers. And one of the things he used to say, and especially to kids, he would say, I like you just the way you are. So I ran that by Angelica, and she said, that's good. Add, and there's always room for improvement. Actually, I think what she said was there's always room for change, but same thing. So after we do the affirmation, turn to someone and say, I like you just the way you are. Because who doesn't want that? Here we go. We are a welcoming community where the vibration of love lifts us, the wisdom of the ages inspires us, and the science of mind teaching empowers us. I like you just the way you are. I like you just the way you are. Jackson? Jackson. Here's our weekly schedule, so you can take a moment to soak it in. I thought that the Bridge House backpack filling party already happened. It's this Wednesday. Okay. Okay. Is Bev here today? Bev, you here? No? Okay. Whoops. Oh, I see, it's coming up. Okay. We are still open to having donations for this, and as you've seen, it's done, it's gorgeous, and we're still accepting donations. So for $22 a square, you can make a donation.
Do you know how many squares are left?
No. I don't know, 100. Somebody want to count them? I don't want to take the time to sit here and count them. Plus, there's the overhang. And I think you were going to bring it up to the council to pay some extra for the overhang. Was that, that's something to be discussed? Okay. Okay, now, on to the backpack filling party. The Bridge House Backpack Filling Party is going to take place Wednesday at 1 o'clock here, and that should be a lot of fun. Thing of joy to fill those backpacks and just imagine all the happy kids getting them. So show up if you can. Yes, oh, Burl, yes.
Yeah, would you explain what Bridge House is?
Would you come on up?
I'm not bad, okay, I'll tell you. I don't need to speak on the phone,
Well, the Zoomers can't see you.
And you look so lovely.
And we know you're not shy.
Okay, Bridge House we've been supporting them for, oh jeepers, close to 20 years, I think, 15 to 20. And it is a transition house for families who've lost their house or for whatever reason need some help getting reestablished. And we support it with school supplies in September for the kids that are there and at Christmas time for gifts. So twice a year. Oh, that's right, forgot about that. Thanksgiving for dinner.
This year there's
11 kids, mostly under the age of 11, I believe.
No,
Oh, oh, up to high school. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Burl.
Come and join us, it's fun.
Crafternoon is this Friday from 1 to 4. Just show up, have fun. Bring whatever you're working on.
I showed up last Friday. It did not happen last Friday.
It's this Friday. Oh, this Friday. It's the third Friday usually. Oh, the third Friday.
Yeah, I thought the backpacking party was last week too. We're in sync, out of sync here, Olivia. Art with Louise. Louise, would you like to say something about this? Up here at the mic?
No, I'm shy.
She's shy too.
Okay, I mentioned this last week, but I think we probably have new faces in here today. It is not just line drawing, it is one line drawing, one line, okay? We will be doing that on Saturday. It is all by love offering, so if you don't know what that is pay what you think it's worth, what you can afford, or if you can't afford it, that's fine. I get a little bit of that, and the church gets some of it. So we all benefit, and anybody can come. You do not have to have any art experience at all, and because it's just one line, so all you need is a piece of paper and a pencil. That's all you need. So even art supplies is not going to break you. If not, maybe I'll have some pencils and paper extra that I can bring. So that's it. Did someone have a question? You were pointing?
I'm wondering what Kathy and Rebecca are giggling about.
Oh. Okay.
That's okay. Is there
Okay,
something
no,
you
I
want
thought
to share
someone
with
had
the
a
rest of the
question.
class? Okay. A new class coming, speaking of classes. When fear speaks, listen. Would you like to comment on this, Reverend Angelica?
Sure, there's a sign-up sheet. we have 2 people who've signed up for a daytime class. I've also offered to do a Wednesday evening class because some of our people, are in Hawaii and Alaska and different places. So, but I need to know who wants to come because with just 2, I don't know if I want to do it. So, so if you're interested at all, the book is by Dennis Merritt Jones, who's written some absolutely wonderful books, one of them called The Art of Uncertainty. There's a lot of art of books that he's written that are very good. We've used them in our book study group before. But this one is the 7, what does it say? Messengers of Fear. And up until a week ago, there was a really heavy-duty current of fear everywhere for me. And so I thought, well, this would be a perfect book for us. Now we don't have such a heavy-duty current of fear, and but it's still good for us because all of us get afraid once in a while, right? Or is it just me? So sign up for class. This is a love offering class as well.
Thank you. Okay, Saturday, the 24th, the Redwood Pride Pancake Breakfast is taking place here from 10 to 1. Last one of the season, $15. Come and enjoy. And our 40th anniversary potluck barbecue is coming up. Mark your calendars, September 7th, Saturday, 1 to 4, with music by the Anna Hamilton Trio. And if you've never had the pleasure of listening to them, they are dynamite. They're so good, so tight. I mean, Anna by herself rocks, but when she's got a bass player and a drummer. Yeah, yes. This is something that you can join up with, the 100 Days of Mindful Practice. It already started. It's to have a peaceful, productive, wonderful election with none of the turmoil that we have had in the past. It's going to be wonderful. Tune out the fear, tune in the vision. So there's the information for that. You can go to myelectionintention.com to learn more. Better Together. Do you have an idea for an event? Please contact Rose. Bowling. Yes. Bookstore. August sale. Great summer reading. All used books. There's some really good used books out there. I just noticed yesterday. There's a Thomas Troward, the Doré lecture for only $3. That's a real deal. So all used books are $1 off.
It'll only be $2.
Yeah, I should get that. The Little Pantry needs all sorts of food, including ramen. Wow, that's a first. So, next time you're shopping, please look around, get something extra, and bring it by. Pop-top cans are especially good, so people don't have to bite the can open. So if they're out there and they want something to eat right now, they can. So, this month's theme is power. Now, this reminds me of one of my favorite stories of power, and you knew it would. One day, the lion decided to call a meeting of all of the animals, one representative of each species. So when they were all gathered, he said, turned to the leopard, "Who's the king of the jungle?" And the leopard went, "You are, sire." He went, "That's right, that's right." He turned to the gorilla and he goes, "Who's the king of the jungle?" And the gorilla went, "You are, sire." Don't forget it. Turned to the elephant and he said, "Who's the king of the jungle?" The elephant looked down at him, wrapped his massive trunk around him, lifted him up, spun him around 3 times in the air, and slammed him to the ground. All the other animals were shocked. What was the king going to say? And he looked up, and he was all crumpled and broken, and he said, "Well, there's no need to get so huffy just because you don't know the answer." So, well, we know all the answer about where our power comes from, and right now we're going to have a moment of peace to go with that power from one of the most powerful, peaceful people I know, Edward Waples, accompanied by Jackson. Come on up, Edward. Make us feel that power and peace.
God, I love this center. And I always feel so blessed and privileged to be a part of it and to be here with you guys. And I am really blessed to be a practitioner here. We have two here today, Susan and I, and three, Reverend Angelica. She's still a practitioner as well. But we have I think 4 or 5 or 6 or 7. 4 now, yeah, which would be Scott Marcus and Michelle, who are, Scott is, as you know, running the 4K, and I am or 5K, I guess it is, huh? And I'm so grateful that he didn't try to talk us into it.
He wanted us all to come down and greet him at the finish line, but
Oh, I don't mind greeting him at the finish line. But the only thing I run for is dinner. Our theme is power, and I guess most of you know I'm a nurse at St. Joseph's Hospital, and my dear wife, in fact, didn't make it today because we were running on reserve energy, like working nights and moving and trying to do everything else we're doing. And I told her to stay home and sleep. But me, I'm too wired up and too nosy to do that. So I was given a book by one of the patients there, and I thought it was interesting. She's a Christian, so it was a Bible. A biblical book, I thought. But then when I started kind of reading it, I got a different vibe, so I thought I'd share a little bit. It's by a gentleman named, let me see if I can get to it. It's called The Scientific Facts in the Bible by Ray Comfort. And in the introduction, it starts off with him talking to this youth. And the youth, makes what he considers an outrageous statement about being God, himself. And so the youth was expecting a reaction from him, and his reaction was that you're just like any other human, you're normal. So he says, well, what do you mean by that? And so Ray asked him, he said, well, where do you think, as an example, where do you think is here? And so I'll take it up from there. It says, every human being, the youth answered, by the way, he says, where I am is here. So he said, every human being thinks the same way. We define here as being where we are. Everything and everyone else is there. Each of us thinks that we are the center of the universe. Semantics? Let's take it a little further. Define now for me. Tell me when it is. You can't. The split second that you try to pinpoint now, it becomes then. I often find myself explaining the nature of now after I ask people if they have ever stolen something. This is their typical answer to the question. Yes, I have, but that was in the past. I explain to them that everything is in the past. You are even forced to define the reading of this sentence as something you did in the past. These thoughts are a little strange, and you may be thinking that there are some things that we can still be sure of. The sun still rises, the sky is still blue, and up is still up. Not true. The sun never rises. The earth turns, giving us the illusion that the sun is rising, although it remains still. It seems to be still anyway, but it's actually moving through the universe. The sky isn't blue. Ask any astronaut. It has no color. Neither is up, up. Remember that the earth is round. What is up to someone at the North Pole is not up to someone at the South Pole. In fact, if everyone on the earth pointed to where we thought was up, we would all point in different directions. So many things that we think are absolutes are not. History has shown us that even what science defines as truth today may be laughed at in 100 years. What then can we be sure of? Is there a such thing as absolute, unchanging truth? We will look at this subject later, he says, in the publication. But is there an absolute truth? Or is truth just a perception and an illusion?
Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I'll be a living sanctuary for
I am so grateful, so very grateful for the love, the joy, the spirit of hope and trust that we have here at the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living. I am so grateful for all of the centers for spiritual living throughout the world that though they may teach differently in style, have the same message. And that message is that we are powerful beings. We are not beings that were meant to live on our knees and worship a deity from outside of ourselves. We are beings that are a part of that deity. We live as manifestations of that one magnificent life force, that one magnificent sentient energy that we call God or Spirit. We demonstrate this every day by expressing our power through creation. We create our moments. We create our lifestyles. We create everything about this world each and every minute that we are in it. And we know that as corporeal beings, as atomic beings, which we are, that the truth is that we are a spiritual energy, and energy is power. We are thought manifested. And because of that, we are constantly thinking. And every thought is power. The truest form of power is love. Love has children, and the children are wisdom, knowledge, understanding, forgiveness. All of these children of love are ours once we perceive them to be. Our perceptions are our rules, our law. And our perceptions can change according to what needs to be done, what we need to feel in the moment. What is truth? Is it an absolute? Or is it something that is personal to each and every one of us? We must believe in ourselves, because we are all, in truth, that we have on this planet, but in actuality, we are all connected. We're connected to each other, we're connected to everything. So this feeling of aloneness, this feeling of separation is illusion. It is a power that has been given us so that we can go through this life and learn the lessons that we need to learn, that we can achieve the goals that we set for ourselves before coming here. And we are all players in each other's scenario. And knowing this and appreciating this, I say, and so it is.
Blessed are we to be a sanctuary, life expressing sacred truth, with thanksgiving. I remain a living sanctuary for
Thank you, Rick, Marvin, Jackson, and Ari. And now I would like to welcome to the podium our spiritual leader, our mentor, and our beloved Reverend Angelica.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Well, good morning, everyone, and good morning, Zoomers. It's good to be here this morning. I know that a few of our people are on vacation. One's running. I really have to say for Scott, I don't think I could do that. You know, I mean, it's good, though. It's really good. Yeah, he's probably crossing the line right now. Yay, Scott!
His ears should be burning.
Yep. Or he's feeling this loving energy that we're putting out. So, As you can see by the slide, my talk is entitled The Power of Change today. We're focusing on power this month. And I thought about this title or this topic because there's one thing that we have to do. We have to acknowledge that change is a constant. Nothing is going to stay the same, even if you want it to. Nothing does. And being that this is a universal truth, we have to accept it, accept change as being inevitable. Now, I thought about this idea of accepting change, and I thought that part of us is afraid of change. There's a certain fear, perhaps, when you're going to move into a new place or move into a new job or a new relationship or whatever it might be, where this feeling comes up about that change in your life. So let me just throw this question out to you and you can answer it. What are some common fears?
Safety.
What?
Safety.
Safety. That's a good one, yep.
The unknown.
The unknown, definitely.
Dentists.
What?
Dentists.
Dentists. I have that fear, yeah. Failure, definitely. Not being enough.
Success.
What?
Success.
Success, yeah, there is a fear of success. Lack of money, yeah. Death, definitely. So if you listen to these, you realize that these are all common fears, and in fact, there is one, every single one of you probably has another response to that same question. And learning how to cope with change is something that we start doing as little children, and because of what our parents tell us and our teachers tell us, and etc. And then as we move along our timeline, we realize that coping with fears and embracing change means maintaining a positive mindset. It means seeking support and staying open to new opportunities. This idea of creating or embracing a positive mindset is what the Science of Mind teaching is all about. Allowing ourselves to seek support. You know, I don't think very many people in the Western culture do that. I think that we tend to think we have to be strong. You know, we have to shoulder our problems or our fears or whatever, and we have to carry them ourselves, and we can't let anybody know that we're feeling that way because then they won't like us or then they'll think little of us. There's another fear, right? Other cultures, like European cultures, seem to let it all out, you know? And they do choose to seek support from other people. So I think it's a really good thing to seek support, whether it's from a therapist, whether it's from your best friend, or whoever it might be. And to realize that what change might be fearful, but what it's really bringing about is new opportunities. So I started a church on the Big Island in Hawaii in 1981. And that's when I moved there. Wait a minute. It was after that, because in 2026, they're going to be 40 years old. So it actually got chartered and everything. What? Yeah, 86, right. That's when it got officially recognized by Religious Science International. It was called then. And then 20 years later, not quite 20 years later, I'm not good at numbers. So a while later, quite a while later, I was at a conference, and the minister of the Vancouver, British Columbia church said she was leaving that position, and she came to me and said I would be the perfect person for that job. Well, now, I'm married. I started a church. I've got a really active church. There's like 80 people on a Sunday. And yet, so I just went, yeah, sure, when she said that, and, shined it on. But it kept coming back. It kept coming back. And so I said to my husband, this is what's happening with me. I'm getting this feeling that I need to go do this. And he says, I'm not moving. And so I didn't. I stayed. And for about a year. And then, but this feeling just wouldn't leave me. In fact, I remember standing in my dining room. I was living on the Big Island, and there's this beautiful Hawaiian forest right outside my dining room window, and looking out there and saying to God, why? Why are you calling me to do this? Why do I have to do this? And I didn't get an answer. But that feeling that I needed to leave just got stronger and stronger. So I did. And I ended up living in British Columbia for 10 years with a wonderful center up there. And in fact, the center had sort of died out, and I brought it back to life. And it was a wonderful, wonderful feeling. And then there was all kinds of stuff happening in the United States that created a lot of fear. The 2011 and, all these different things that kept happening. And suddenly, not 2011. 9/11, yeah, sorry. So all of a sudden, Barack Obama comes on the scene, and the energy of the United States lifted. And the word was hope. And everything lifted to a much higher degree, and I thought, I could go home now. And I'm thinking, what do you mean I could go home now? I live here. I've got this great church here. And it kept coming to me. I could go home now. So I started looking at all the churches that were available in the United States, and I went for the one that paid the most. It was in Baltimore, Maryland. And I have to say that I will never chase the money again. The church had experienced the death of their minister, who was a young man and very well known and very popular. And they were going through a lot of trauma. So I realized suddenly that I wasn't supposed to be their forever minister. I was supposed to be the interim minister that helped them through this experience that they were having. And I was just a little too West Coast for them. I mean, I believed in women's groups, and in the first women's group I held for them, I handed everybody a goddess card, and they're all going, "What's this?" And so I started looking at Baltimore. I was reading a book at the time, a historical fiction book, that said that Baltimore was the first Catholic diocese in the United States. And I went, oh, okay. And then, and it was really interesting because there was a couple of cathedrals that were built for Mary, the mother of Jesus. Now, I've always had an affinity for Mary in my spiritual journey, so I went to this one that was really beautiful during the day, and I walk in, and I'm expecting to see Mary's statue or something somewhere. Nothing. It was the crucifix on the wall. It was some other saints along the side walls, etc. And I'm thinking, wow, where's Mary? This is a cathedral dedicated to Mary. And one of the priests came out, and I asked him, and he said, oh, well, we have a special little chapel for Mary over here. And I thought, well, that's ridiculous. But anyway, so, and then I decided, actually, there board and I decided that I wasn't the right one for them, and ended up picking this one to come and candidate for. And boy, am I glad I did. Because this has been so perfect. So staying open to new opportunities is really important in your life. And what I know is that each one of us is getting directed in some way. The universe gives us signs and signals, and it comes all different ways. It could come through an ad on TV. It could come through something that you hear somebody say. It could come in a way, but it catches you, and you think, oh, I should think about that. And then you keep thinking about that because it won't leave until you do something about it. And in fact, in this idea of something catching you, I've been doing that 100 days of messages for the intentional election. And a couple days ago, it was Dr. Raymond Anderson, which those of you who were with us during the pandemic saw him online when we were doing church on Zoom. He's an amazing young man. I'm not sure how young he is, but he's an amazing young man. And he did the message the other day, and there was one comment in there that I had to write down. He said, you don't have to be fear. You can feel fear, but you don't have to be it. And I thought, wow, how much of my life was spent walking in fear, thinking that all I had in my life was things to be afraid of. So that idea of, yeah, I can feel afraid for the moment, but I don't have to be afraid. I don't have to live in it. It doesn't have to be my reality. And so this idea of the fear of change is a place where we've been allowing ourselves to be fear, to be afraid. So for me then, in order to move out of this, which everybody has in some degree, we have to start embracing change as part of our personal growth. And so how do you do that? Well, Dr. Holmes says it really simply. Change your thinking, change your life. Somebody asked me at a housewarming party in Hawaii years ago, and I know I've told you this before, but this came, so it's going to be said again. I'm at this party. I have a drink in one hand and a joint in the other. And somebody comes up to me, and they had heard my house blessing, and they liked it, and they said, so what exactly does your religion teach? And I said, give me a minute. And I came back to, they wanted it in 13 words or less. So I came back and said, all there is God, and it's done unto you as you believe. And that is our bottom line truth. All there is God. Like Edward read in that book, which I'd like to read when you're done. There isn't God and me, or God and you. There's only God. There's only this divine energy. It's not a being up in the sky somewhere. It's an energy. And it's an energy of love, and it's an energy of infinite intelligence, and it's moving through everything and becoming things so that it can experience more things, I guess. But every single one of us is unique. We're a unique embodiment of this energy. And so there really is this opportunity for expanded growth as we let ourselves really contemplate that idea, that all there is the divine. We change our thinking, we change our lives. So, the one thing that I noticed recently is that our country is going through an amazing change right now. And going, as I said earlier, from the energy of fear to the energy of joy. Even saying that gives me God bumps. I can feel it. Can't you? It is amazing to me. And you know, ever since you met me 10 years ago, I've been saying there's something amazing happening, and it'll happen sooner or later. And maybe we have to go through all this stuff, whatever stuff we were going through at the time, to get there. But the whole energy of, you could hear it on the news, you could hear people talking about it, this energy of joy. This energy of a sense of freedom. Instead of being oppressed, we're being asked to expand. And I like that song that Jackson sang in between, during the moment of peace, where he says, we're a sanctuary. A sanctuary for love, for peace, for joy, for an experience, not only for ourselves, but for others, of something much greater than we've been experiencing. Do you know, what I see is that because these two people stepped out and had this word, joy in particular. I mean, Tim Walz turns to Kamala Harris and says, "Thank you for bringing joy back to our world." And I started crying. It was amazing. But I decided to look for examples of how communities can make a positive change in the world. Because I believe we are making a positive change just by being who we're being. And as a community, we're doing it all together. So we're adding to this sense of positivity, you might say, to the collective consciousness. But here's a rather drastic example I found. In 2007, a devastating EF5 tornado destroyed 95% of Greensburg, Kansas. 95% of a town. The community decided to rebuild the town as a model of sustainability using green technologies and practices. Greensburg became one of the greenest towns in the United States, with energy-efficient buildings, renewable energy sources, and a focus on sustainability. This transformation brought new opportunities, tourism, and a stronger sense of community. But there's a town that was destroyed that came together to recreate their town, but to create it in a more efficient, environmentally efficient way. And because they were doing this, the whole community got together. I found this quote that I really like by Alan Watts. He says, "The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance." So right now, what I know is that we can dance a dance of joy. I just love that word. And by doing this, in order to do this, we need to, again, change our thinking, therefore change our lives. In fact, I wrote down another quote that I like by Winston Churchill, who said, "To improve is to change, to be perfect is to change often." So what we want to do then is in our own lives, in our community's life, in our country's life, is to see the changes we're going through as an opportunity for growth and renewal. And as we allow ourselves to remember the truth of life itself, that everything is divine energy, we can move forward with faith and with trust, allowing ourselves to navigate and embrace change with confidence. We're not going to be the same way for the rest of our lives. I mean, our bodies will tell us that. We're going to change. And so let's embrace it. In fact, this morning, I was looking at all these little silver pieces that are starting to show up in my hair and thinking, oh, maybe I should tell Heidi she needs to color my hair. And then I thought, why don't I just embrace it? You know, be a wise woman, right? A wise older woman. What?
It's easier and cheaper.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's something to think about. Definitely. So I'm inviting you this week to really pay attention to this power of change and see where you're being asked to change in your own life. I think we're all being asked to change somehow. So then as we let the universe guide us along this path that we're going on, we're all traveling on a spiritual path. As we allow the universe to guide us, I believe things will just get better and better. And it's a good thing. So I'm going to change the order. Normally we do our affirmation now, and then we do the treatment. I'm going to do the treatment first, and then we'll do the affirmation so that it's easier for our musician to step out of that space and into the music. Are we ready? And for those of you that are new, when we say treatment, our word for prayer, or affirmative prayer, as written by Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of our faith tradition, is spiritual mind treatment. And for all of you, just to remind you how a treatment goes, is first, it has 5 steps. You recognize all there is the divine. Second, you unify with that. You recognize that you're unified with that. The third place, you speak your word for what you want. The fourth one is that you're grateful for it, and the fifth is to release it. I don't always follow that pattern, but the 5 steps are there. And that's what you guys do too. I mean, I know that as you learn it, you do it in your own way. Take a breath. Gratefully, I acknowledge that there is only one power, a divine power that is present in, through, and as absolutely everything there is, including us. And so I celebrate that power. And I know that that power is love, it's peace, it's joy, it's all things that we can imagine that are positive and uplifting. And so knowing the power of change, I speak this word in the first person so that each person can take it in easier. And I choose right now to let go of being afraid of change in my life. I know that change is natural. Change gives me opportunities for growth, gives me abilities to experience new things. And so I celebrate change. I celebrate change in my body. I celebrate change in my life, in my community, in our country. And I put a word on what I want this change to be. And right now I choose to use the word joy. I declare that I am ready and willing to experience more joy in every area of my life. And so I start looking for it, and I see it, and I acknowledge it when I see it. And it is good. It is very good. So I celebrate joy. And I celebrate joy as one of the main components of this wonderful, universal, divine energy this infinite intelligence that's absolutely everywhere, that is love itself. And I know that that energy is within me and within everything that I experience with my senses and more. How grateful I am to be here now. How grateful I am to be in this body, in this life, in this country. I celebrate joy. And so I release these words knowing that they are so, and so it is. Take another breath. Oops. Which one am I supposed to do? One of these. So let's say this affirmation together. As I trust in the power of change, I am open to see different perspectives which allow me to grow, understand, and accept the greater good that is always here for me. And so it is. And so our musician this morning is Anna Hamilton. So let's welcome her.
The ambulance just brought him in.
What?
The ambulance just brought him in.
Brought
Where
who
is
in?
he?
Oh.
He's hiding. Help the old guy
Get him a stretcher. Come on, man. Come on, stop. Come on, stop. Come on, stop. You can do it, buddy. Come on, man. What are you? He's getting some coffee. Thank you. I was looking at the theme of forgiveness, and I realized I didn't have any songs about forgiveness, and didn't know any songs about forgiveness.
That was last week.
Well, you know, with it, so. And then I started thinking about forgiveness, and the only way I know how to do real forgiveness is with truth and reconciliation, where the person that's really conspired to do something really harmful acknowledges it to the person, and they really have healing and what has large social consequence. And I was thinking about the people that I know that have conned our community, and I haven't forgiven. And today I had some real movement when I realized while we were listening to Angelica and Edward that I never really went to them and asked them if to acknowledge whatever it was. And I didn't give them a chance for truth and reconciliation. So anyway, this is the front end of it. I don't have a long time to tell you this song. The days go by and it can't be held down. But sooner or later someone is gonna tell. And I just wanna get my word in too. I stood on the sidelines while you played that game. I was shocked at what you done and how you led the people on. Then they gathered them around you. Well, that's really nothing new, but the weight of it is pulling you down. There've been some questions asked around. Sure makes me glad I'm an honest woman, 'cause I wouldn't want to be in your shoes right now. Doesn't it make you crazy trying to keep it straight in your mind? You know you did it wrong, yeah, and you know you'll get away. while we, the innocent people, are paying to this day. Oh, but that's all right. You know, it's only this old world. I just hope it's not the only one. What have you done? Not the only one. What have you done? Thank you.
So we need 2 people for our offering. So let's say this affirmation together. I gratefully give from the fullness of my abundance, knowing my gift blesses the center, all in it and beyond. And so it is. And you know what? I was thinking about this idea of an offering. Go ahead. Yesterday or Friday, when I was talking to one of my prayer partners, Reverend Sidney Lehman, down at North Hollywood, and we decided that instead of calling it an offering, we're going to call it an investment. We're making an investment in our spirituality. So think about it that way. This is an investment in my spirituality. And it's an investment in our center, of course. I was thinking, knowing that I've been here 10 years now, I've been thinking about all the things that we've done as a center. For instance, the handicap ramp, the solar panels, painting, new front doors, the mural. Yeah, the stage getting rearranged. It's like amazing. What? The lending library that's overflowing. It's abundant. Yeah. So we've all made an investment in all these things, and it's a wonderful thing. And we've made an investment in being able to be here for people to be supported and uplifted along their spiritual path, and to create community, which I think is wonderful. So we bless this offering, or this investment, these bowls of investment. We bless it, knowing that it is for the highest good for all concerned, and that as we have given, so shall we receive. And we celebrate this, because this too is God. This too is good, and so it is. So, who would like to read our community statement of inclusion?
I'll just stay up here.
You will? Okay, there you go. What?
Anybody who hasn't done it before would like to come up? Ooh, we got a couple hands here. Come on up, Susan.
You're being forced to by Burl, right?
Is it big print? Okay.
Is it big enough for you?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
We, the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living, are a community that celebrates diversity, fosters inclusion, champions inner work, and creates space for brave, vulnerable conversations. We are a community that honors the unique emanation of God that each person embodies and advocates with people for human rights and dignity for all. We are a community that blesses each other, sees sacredness in all life, remains learners and listeners so that we may grow together, and understands that oneness is not sameness.
We know our
beloved community is revealed more fully when we love each other well.
Thank you very much. All right, let us stand and we'll do our closing song.
How about if we do what we did last week, do a circle?
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Could I please tell a miracle?
Sure. You need help coming up here?
Thank you. This last week, I really had a miracle. Okay. So I went to my doctor's office first thing in the morning. And I went home and worked a little around the house and a little around the yard. And then I went to my swimming exercise class. And when I went to take my hearing aids off, this one was missing. And I thought, oh my, where could that be? I went home, the phone rang, and United Indian Health, my doctor's office, said, "Did you lose a hearing aid?" Someone stepped on it in the parking lot and found it and picked it up and took it inside. I just was so grateful. I truly felt that God was working in my life.
How about if we make a circle like we did last week and all hold hands?
If you don't feel comfortable holding hands, you don't need to.
Yes.
We might have to close it in here.
Well, Carol, come this way. Carol, my love. My wife.